Everyone, it's Michelle from Stone Ledge. Would you like to know the absolute best way to increase your odds of having an aligned, extraordinary, value add, joy filled day? The absolute best way to make sure that that happens way more often than it maybe is happening right now. So, the best way to do that, and this is based on not only my experience, especially my experience since I worked on ships, but science, peer reviews, just more articles and YouTube videos and how-to books than you can possibly imagine. So what is the secret sauce? It's the morning routine. At Stone Ledge, we call this starting the day aligned. Now, again, there are thousands of articles from periodicals like Forbes and health.gov and celebrities. Everybody's talking about a morning routine, but there's a reason for that. This is the way to take control of your day right off the bat and do everything you can to make it extraordinary, to stack the odds in your favor. Now, before we get into the science and some of the examples, I really want to tell you why this is so important to me, why we start every single course, workshop, book, experience at Stone Ledge talking about starting the day aligned. Because I've actually lived on both sides. I've lived on the side of really starting the day with, cliche alert, but my best foot forward, getting out of the right side of the bed, starting the day with all of the odds in my favor. And I've started the day rolling out of bed and just kind of, dropping into a sea of chaos. And I know that there's a significant difference in terms of how I conduct myself, how I behave, and even more importantly, how I feel when I start the day aligned. So for me, this all started way back in 2012 when I had the opportunity to serve on board the Disney Dream. I had worked shoreside for travel operations for 15 years, and then I got an opportunity to go on board. And as I've shared with many, many people through the years, working on a ship is a lifestyle. It's not a job. You're working 7 days a week for the length of your contract, which most contracts are anywhere from 4 to 8 months. The days are very long. The routine is what AJ and I call very samey. So you're doing the same thing over and over and over again. And it is a recipe for burnout. Now, on the flip side, it's also an extraordinary experience, and the people are fantastic. I got to work with close to 60 different nationalities on one of the most beautiful ships at sea, going to just incredible destinations like Castaway Cay in the Bahamas. I mean, there was definitely an upside, but there was definitely a lot of a strong current, let's just say, that was pulling me towards burnout. Because I've always had a good work ethic, but there's a difference between working Monday through Friday, even long hours, and then having at least a day to process and unwind, and then not having that. My contracts are about 145 days long. And so about halfway through my first contract, when I was starting to feel crispy around the edges, I decided, you know what, I've got to fix this. I've either got to fix the way I feel inside and even physically, or this is going to be my one and only contract at sea. And so I believed in meditation. So I actually went into a deep meditation and discovered that the key was right within what I was doing. It was meditation. It was carving out time to process. It was carving out time just for me. Now, I can't do that on a daily basis, meaning I can't take a whole day to do that. But every single day, there's always a little pocket of time that I could. And the time of day that I had the most control over was first thing in the morning. I feel like I'm very blessed to be a morning person. I love the mornings. I wake up without an alarm. And so I decided instead of just waking up and pretty much rolling out of bed, my office was 40 yards away from my cabin. And so it was really easy just to put my officer whites on and go to work. It was my first contract, so I was still new. I was still learning a lot. There was always so much to do. And I thought that the right thing was just to get to work as soon as possible. But that was what was burning me out. And so I decided I've got control of the morning. And so I actually devised a morning routine that would help me process, that would get my body stretched out and limber, and would actually make sure that my mind was in the right place for a productive day. I'll tell you about my actual routine a little bit later in the video, but my point is that, my goodness, if I didn't do that, I was like racing towards burnout. Once I did that, not only did I survive that first contract, but I did 3 more. And I probably could have stayed out to sea longer had I not gotten a wonderful opportunity to join the leadership team at the Disney Institute. But that's another story for another time. So back to this concept of aligning every day. I want to share with you a little bit of the science behind it. So in most morning routines, which again, I will get to, we're talking about aligning the mind through things like meditation, mantras, visualization, journaling. Scientifically, what that does is it creates a deeper degree of self-awareness. So we're aware of what's going on up here. It helps us become emotionally resilient because we're not just burying, we are actually dealing with some of the things that are going on in our mind. It helps with reduction in cortisol, which is the stress hormone. And believe me, there's a reason and a purpose for cortisol going through your body. But when you go past that point of healthy amount of cortisol, there's so much damage that it can cause. And if you're not familiar with cortisol, think fight or flight. Think of that stress that kind of runs through you that starts up here, but you can physically feel in your body. Believe me, if it's physically running through your body, it's creating havoc. So reduction in cortisol is a significant thing. Meditation, visualization, journaling, they have also been proven scientifically. In fact, we'll put some links in the comments below, but scientifically, it's been proven to reduce bouts of depression, to mitigate anxiety. And I'm going to raise my hand. I have dealt with anxiety for a good portion of my life, where it's almost like this low-grade panic. But when I meditate and I visualize and I have a strong morning routine, pretty much just disappears. So again, I don't want to get too deep into the science, but there's reasons why celebrities, news periodicals, even business magazines talk about the importance of a morning routine. So hopefully at this point you're on board. You're like, okay, Michelle, I'm in, or I'm doing a morning routine, but it's not quite working for me, or I've never done it, but yes, I am feeling the sting of inner chaos. Tell me what I can do. So there's a lot of different ways that you can do a morning routine. And I want to just jump to the end really quick. If you're thinking right now, I don't have any time to myself in the morning, then I'm going to share with you ways that you can do a great morning alignment in 5 minutes, or you can do a great morning alignment in 55 minutes. There's a way to get this centered so the rest of it all works. So here's some ways that you can do a great morning routine. Meditation is definitely one of them. And if you haven't meditated before, there's some great apps out there. There's some YouTube videos that you can listen to. We've even got a meditation YouTube video that's out there that's about 15 minutes long. But the bottom line for me is that meditation is not about stopping thought, because some people give up saying, I was still thinking. It's about slowing down your thoughts. It's just about getting into kind of a nice rhythm in terms of breath and slowing down the thoughts that come through, and then not getting stuck on any one thought, just letting it pass through, letting it pass through, letting it pass through. I think you'll be surprised where your mind actually goes when it's not kind of going through this checklist mentality or what's next mentality, when you can slow down your thoughts and then just become the observer of what comes up in your mind. It's a pretty fascinating experience. So that's one. Now, the other one for me that's huge is journaling. Every single morning I journal. I write to me, I write for me, I write unfiltered. But again, it's another way to process. It's another way to get out whatever's going on up here, whatever's kind of building up. I get it out on paper. And then once it's out on paper, it's almost like it's dealt with. And then sometimes I just write very excitedly about what I'm going to do that day. In fact, some of my LinkedIn posts have been literally from a journaling experience that I had that morning. So that's another one. Third thing that I do every single day is stretch. Now, I am 59 years old in about a month. In fact, a month from yesterday, I will be 59, and I feel fantastic. And I can run up and down, maybe run is an exaggeration, but I can hike up and down some of the biggest mountains here in Tennessee and just feel fantastic. Like I feel like a 20-year-old. And a big part of that is I stretch every morning. I also walk and work out and lift weights, but every morning I do what I call a deep stretch. And then I do my 50s, which is basically 50 squats, 50 push-ups, 50 toe touches, and 50 sit-ups, just to keep the blood flowing. Because when your blood is flowing, it is not only lubricating the joints and stretching out the muscles, but there's endorphins that are being released. There's dopamine that's being released, and that's like the anti-cortisol hormone. So stretching is a big part of it. And the last thing that I do every day is I hydrate. In fact, I usually do that as soon as I wake up. Our bodies are like 60 to 65% water, but our brain is closer to 75 or 80%. So if I'm feeling mental fatigue or I'm getting a headache, I always hydrate as much as possible. And when you lose so much water through sweat and through breath and just through processing, basically elimination, your body needs that water back as soon as possible. So in a nutshell, that's my morning routine. But let me quickly touch on a couple of other options, because if you are someone that says, I really don't have any time, or I only have a couple of minutes, this might work for you. So let's just say that you are someone that is like, all right, so people pretty much need me from the moment I wake up. Now, hopefully that's your immediate family, your pets or your children, and not this email that's coming through. That can wait. But if you literally only have a couple of minutes, what I recommend is still laying in bed, eyes still closed, if that's the way it is, and then just think to yourself a couple of mantras. Just say something as simple as, you know what? I've got this. I've got this. Or I'm worth it. I'm worth it. Or badass. I'm a badass. Whatever it is, whatever works for you to get that healthy state going on. Another thing you can do is when you're in the restroom in the morning, I'm sure we all have a couple of minutes there. When you're looking in the mirror, literally just look at yourself and say, you've got this. You've got this. You've got this. You know what? Life is life. Things are going to happen, but you've got this. I believe in you and I'm proud of you, and you've got this. Center that way. The very last thing I would share, if you only have a little bit of time, is just do some breath work. If you do deep, deep breath work, meaning inhale in as deep as you can, hold it for 4 seconds. Exhale again, hold it for 4 seconds. We call that box breathing. Sometimes literally that's enough to align and thrive. But here's the deal, and here's where I kind of want to wrap up. This is within your control. This is something that you can hardwire every day. If it's a habit, if it's a must-have, which it is for me right now, even if I wake up late and I need to run to the airport, I still find a way to spend at least 5 minutes making sure that I'm aligned. And this is mind body. This is me. This is me connecting with the best version of me. It's critical. It is absolutely a game changer. So no matter what you do, I hope that you do find time to align and thrive. And I'm also really hoping that this video has added value to your day, that you're now kind of on fire for what happens next, meaning, all right, I need to tweak my morning alignment. I need to find a better routine. I need to make sure that people understand that this is about me, and I'm committed to doing it. So I'm hoping that's what you got out of this video. And speaking of commitment, Tony Robbins shared a long time ago that you should never leave the sight of a goal without taking some sort of immediate action towards its fulfillment. And that really resonated with me. So if this information resonated with you, I challenge you to get out a sticky note, a legal pad. My son takes notes on his phone. Whatever you need to do, sit down for 5 minutes and say, this is the morning routine that I'm going to start tomorrow. This is it. I'm going to start this. I'm going to do it religiously for 21 days until it becomes a habit, tweak it if I need to, but I'm going to do this because this is the way I'm going to stack the odds in my favor. This is the way that I'm going to calm my own inner chaos. This is the way that I'm going to become the best version of me. So I'm hoping that you're going to do that because that's the way to lock this in. And then my final comment for you is if you need someone to help you on that journey, reach out to me. I do one-on-one coaching. I can help you. Sometimes it takes a little bit more than just writing it down to lock it in. That's part of what I do. But really what I want to do through this video is just help you, get you pointed in the right direction, and know that we care about your progress. So if you're not already part of our newsletter community, which you'll find more information just like this, please do sign up. The notes are in the comments below. And I hope that, again, this is added value. And I sincerely hope that you become the best version of you, that your inner chaos is already starting to calm, and that you have a wonderful day. Thank you for being here, and much love.